In the beginning, there is always an idea. And in this situation, the idea came to Corinne Campbell. And the idea was Corinne's Kitchen. Corinne Campbell has had a career as a restaurateur. And she's looking now more broadly to product development, manufacturing of a product, trying to introduce a product into Australia and other economies that has not previously been introduced. And it comes to her that rice has not been treated the way that things like pasta have been treated. You go through the shelves of Woolworths and Coles and other retailers and you'll see 5-6 metres of pasta in various shapes, sizes, descriptions, with additives, with different ways of cooking it. Go to the rice section. It's poverty-stricken. There's just rice in a plastic container, either a bottle or a package. Seems strange. The Italians seem to have won, whereas the rice eaters of the world, vastly numbering the pasta eaters, are not being serviced. So Corinne's idea was to do to rice what others have not done to it. She's conceptualized the introduction into the world market of a new rice product. Now, being a restaurateur, she knows that she's going to have to get the advice of others. And she's heard about a fellow who won an award last night called Bruce Patton. Bruce is a specialist in government grants. He's an accountant, traditionally. So he's got a broad range of skills for business development. So she knows she's going to speak to him. She also has heard a lot about Vanessa Belinda. She is a consultant in translation, which is converting text or spoken speech from one language to another, as well as in interpretation, which is understanding cultural styles and habits. And because Corinne's Kitchen, the concept, is intended to be global, she's going to need a lot of translation and a lot of interpretation assistance being given to her by Vanessa. She also realises that as a restaurateur, she needs people with specific country knowledge. So she happens to know me, Norik Lanchin, and I happen to be a country agent for Thailand and a few other places in Southeast Asia, and I'm a former lawyer. So we go back in history now to the moment when Corinne first got her idea. And so she went to meet a fellow by the name of Bruce. And it's 2007. And let's listen in to their first meeting.
Hi, Bruce. I'm Corinne.
Hi, Corinne. Pleasure to meet you.
I have made these amazing recipes, and I've made up this packaging that doesn't exist. And I'm sure I can put that product in different markets, especially Southeast Asia. I'm using Australian products. I want to have grains and nuts that are typically, and dry fruits that are typically Australian. I'm mixing them all up, and I want to. I'm not sure yet where I'm going to manufacture it. I'm looking at maybe doing it overseas because it is cheaper, and also I think there will be a big potential for export. But you know, I need some financial help here. I haven't got that much cash flow at the moment. Can you help me?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, where you're making it's not really important at this stage, but I guess I'd like to know a little bit more. I mean, it's good to have a great idea like that, but I guess to make sure it's going to be successful, I'd like to know how you're looking to commercialise it. How are you going to distribute it overseas?
Well, I think I'm going to have to go through some major distributors so I can do it in good volumes when I get there. So I need to do some research and find who can distribute it into, let's say, the supermarkets and so on in different countries of the world.
All right, that's great. I mean, I've got some contacts, people that can help you find overseas representative if that's the way you want to go. And I'll give you their contact details. So the financial support you need, I guess that's the most critical for you at this stage.
It costs a lot of money every time. You know, I've been trying to go overseas. I did go already once, and it cost a lot of money. You know, just getting there in a hotel and talking to people and taking people out to try to make the deals. And I don't know, I might need a translator. I have a lot of problems, so I might need to bring somebody with me as well. And that costs a lot of money. Is there any way I can get help somewhere?
Okay, yes, there is. Firstly, the government's got a scheme called Trade Start. They don't give you money, but there's people there with experience and knowledge that know how to do it, and they're probably worthwhile doing, and they can lock you in with the embassies in the various countries. And they're a good resource to have on the ground so that when you land at a country, you've got someone you can go and talk to who know the people, that can do research on the background of various. Looking financially, though, there's things like the Export Market Development Grant, which I think you're probably a little bit early for that at the moment. They will provide you funding for marketing the product. It doesn't matter where it's made, provided you're going to get foreign dollars into Australia, they will cover half your costs. But where you are at the moment, you're looking at the development of your products. It sounds like you're doing something smart. If you're working through a company, there's a thing called an R&D tax rebate that they will actually pay you 37.5 cents on the dollar at the moment of your development costs. And if we sit down and work that out, do a budget, maybe with your accountant, we can work out how to actually maximise your dollars there, because it does make a difference how you classify things, how you record it, and how you look at it. That one is fairly straightforward. We can do that. If you want to go for some bigger money for set up machinery, equipment, there's things like Commercialisation Australia. That can go from 250,000 up to millions. But you've got to have the matching funding to do that. And I think you're probably not at that stage yet. And as you're going forward, I hear there's a thing called an R&D tax incentive coming out. We'll pay 45 cents on the dollar. And that starts from the 1st of July 2011, which is a bit in the future at the moment, being in 2007 as we are. So, yeah, there's various schemes. But, yeah, I think some would be worthwhile sitting down with you and the accountant and just mapping it out and making sure that we can do things properly. And we also need, if you're doing an export grant, we need to look at agreements and that sort of stuff. Have you got those in place yet?
Agreement with who?
Agreements with contracts with it. Well, you haven't found any reps, so
I haven't yet.
yeah.
I've been working on the development of this at this stage.
Okay.
And you know, all the time I spend in my kitchen.
Yeah.
Putting all that together. Would that be part of research and development?
Well, the research and development, they can cover your wages, they can cover the materials, they can cover dyes and stuff. I guess the failures, what you're looking at.
Lots of failures. There's lots of failures to get to that recipe.
Yeah, I'm impressed with what you're doing. It looks good. Yeah, I think there's good potential for your product, and I think there's good potential to get you some money for the development costs.
Well, that's fantastic, isn't it? So I can get some help. Thank you very much.
Not a problem.
What's my next step? What do
Well, let's sit down with yourself and your accountant and just look at the numbers and start working it through and doing a budget as to what you're planning to do, so that you've got a good idea of the sort of money you're going to get back. Because you don't want to run out of money going forward. I guess the other thing is where you go down the track too, you may want to look at investors, and we can talk about that later.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. So I've got to go and talk to my accountant. Thank you.